quickly share this video so that we can have the visionary parents join us, and anyone who also wants to join us, we can have them join us. So a minute, please. How do we help our children stay rooted in their identity? That is what we're talking about today. It's been a month of self-identity for our children, If you are following us, you know that's what we've been doing in the Visionary Parents Academy. And you know, we hear this a lot. They will say, oh, these are pastors' children, they are misbehaving. The mom is, you see the mom, you see the dad, you know, why are they doing like this? Someone was sharing a story with me, a coach was sharing a story with me the other day about a girl who, a pastor's daughter actually, and she's bisexual. She is a teenager. She's already bisexual. And the question will be, a pastor's daughter, how did she get here? Does she not know who she is, where she, the home she comes from? She's a Christian, she's a child of God. Does she not know that? How did she get there? And you hear things like, oh, after all the parents have taught them, after everything, and you hear things like, oh, teenagers have minds of their own, picking when go spoil. That is after you can do everything. If the child chooses to spoil, the child will still spoil. Identity issue. Now you are really teaching them. We have talked about identity. We've talked about how it's formed, how it's shaped, what we can do as parents. Now, what happens? How do you now have them, raise them to be rooted in that identity so that wherever they go, come rain, come shine, they are who they are. You know, the labeling, the trends and everything, nothing gets into them. They remain who they are. Now, that is the very first, that is what we are going to learn about today. My name is Enimi Orebo, and this is the Visionary Parents with Enimi Orebo. If you are new here, you are in a very resourceful place where you can get all your parenting. You can get your parenting questions answered and your parenting struggles. You can get solutions to your parenting struggles. So what you want to do is just go back to this channel, take your time, go through the channel and begin to see our videos. We have very empowering videos that will actually proffer solutions to your parenting struggles. And today it's all about how to help your children to be deeply rooted in their identity so that at the end of the day, no matter what comes up, come rain, come shine, they are not shaking. That is what we are doing today. And it is brought to you by the Visionary Parent Academy, an academy where parents come together and they get super empowered to actually parent with confidence. They get super empowered to parent with knowledge, parent with confidence, and raise the children that they have. They were assigned children, the assignments they have. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just feel my video is dark in the way. I'm not, it doesn't look bright to me. I don't know, I think I'm being blocked. Let me remove the things blocking me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I felt it was not bright enough. I don't want the video to be. Okay, so let's go. Now, the very first thing we want to do is, of course, what we have been learning, the foundation of self-identity is, yes, registration into 2026. If you are not in the Visionary Parent Academy, we'll talk about that later. Now, the foundation of self-identity is, first of all, self-awareness, because the child needs to be aware of themselves. So one of the things you want to do as a parent, you want to make sure that the child is super aware of themselves. I saw a video yesterday of this Ukubi. I don't know if you know Unku. Is it Unkubi or Ukubi? Unkubi, that dwarf that married, I think Vivian, the wife's name is Vivian, and they have a child who looks like the husband, and it's been all bashing. Each time people see her on social media, they are constantly bashing the baby girl, you know, blaming the woman, why did you marry him and all of that. I watched that video yesterday, I think with BBC Pidgin, and they said one thing that made a whole lot of sense to me. They said they bring the girl out on social media so that she will grow in the midst of them. It's not like they don't want to wrap her up in a bubble so that by the time she's grown, they bring her out, it becomes like she is shattered. No, they don't want that situation where by the time they put her in a bubble, she is grown, she comes out, she's shattered. So they want her to just grow in the knowledge of who she is, grow in the knowledge of people's perception about her, and then they do their own to reinforce her, to let them know that whatever people say don't define her. So awareness, they want her to be aware from the one of who she is. They want her to be aware of the kind of person she is. Yes, you are a human being, you have blood flowing in your veins and all of that, but unfortunately you are not designed physically like most people are, like very many people are designed. So because of that, they are going to come against you. So be aware of it. That according to her, that is, according to him or her, two of them were being interviewed. That is the reason why they put their daughter on social media. Even though with all the bashing and all of that, they are not taking her back. They don't care because they believe that it's going to help her settle, come to terms with reality before any other thing, before she grows and becomes wise. It is what we are talking about, self-awareness. The very first thing is that children need to be aware of who they are. Because if they are not aware and maybe we just wrap them up, the world is going to throw a lot of things at them, going to label them, and they may now run with that label that does not originally define them. A friend was telling me once that there was a girl in her school. The parents call her Beauty. They call her Beauty. And are looking at the parameters for measuring beauty in this part of the world. So the girl has to have a particular shape or face and things like that. The girl is not near someone called Beauty, but the parents call her Beauty. And I said, fantastic. The parent, I do hope that calling her Beauty, because even that name will now attract tongues, negative energies to her. People will look at her and say, Beauty, ugly. They can even choose to call her ugly. So I hope in calling her Beauty, the parents have sat her down to explain to her that see what beauty actually means. It's not just your facial features, it's not your physical look, but beauty, it's way more than that. So self-awareness. Our children need to be self-aware. That is the very first thing we need to do. They need to be self-aware. They need to know their strengths. They need to know their weaknesses. They need to know, because if they don't know these things, and how they can even use it to their advantage, how they can grow in it. If they don't know these things, there's a likelihood that as they go out, people who are not even aware, who are less aware, people who have not removed the logs in their eyes, they are going to see them and begin to judge them and begin to use those things. Imagine a child, maybe your child is a slow learner academically, and the child is super smart creatively. They are going to put them in class and say, oh, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. Olodo, you are empty. And the child begins to see themselves as they do not know anything. They are empty. But as a parent, when you know your child, you let them know that, okay, you may be struggling academically, but there are other ways you make up for it. You let them know things. Academics is an economic skill, economic empowerment. Now you have other place you can leverage on. Of course, nobody says don't go to school. Nobody says don't take your academics seriously, because I always talk about effort is what makes the difference, But your child is self-aware. They know their strengths, they know their shortfalls, they know their weaknesses. So they know them before anyone uses it against them. They already know them. Let me give you a practical example. If you have a child, maybe a boy child, that is acting girly, and you let them know, okay, they know from fact, it doesn't define them. It doesn't define them at all. So they are aware of that. It doesn't take away their masculinity. They are aware of that. It is their wiring. It is their physical expression that has nothing to do with their innate wiring. If they are aware of that, and when as they navigate life and someone tells them, oh, you are a girl trapped in a boy's body, they are already aware of who they are. Of course, they know that they are masculine, they are males, they are not females, and so no, it's not going to affect them, it's not going to get to them. compared to, okay, they are completely clueless, they don't even understand themselves. So when they go out, somebody tells them, you look so feminine. Have you ever wondered why you look so feminine? It may be that you're a girl trapped in a boy's body. Because they are completely clueless, they are going to run with it. So the first thing we need to do as a parent, begin to teach your children about themselves, to be aware of who they are, aware of the strengths they carry, aware of the weaknesses, because no one is perfect, aware of the weaknesses, aware of what their strengths are meant to do, and what how their weaknesses can come in the way, and what they can do. Self-awareness is the very first skill you need to empower your child with if you want your child to be deeply rooted in their identity. The other day I was telling myself that my daughter, her major love language is touch. My son is she likes attention in a way that she likes you to be patient. He likes you to be patient. He likes you to listen patiently. So I was telling myself, I was going to tell these people, when you grow older, you are thinking of taking your friendship to another level. There are things you need to look out for. Remember who you are. Attention is super important to you. So you cannot just afford to be random. No, you cannot afford. You need to look at those things. Attention is important to you. Of course, except maybe you decide, okay, you've maybe outgrown it, or if it's outgrowable. So if you know who you are, attention is important to you. You like someone to listen to you, and you are not a fast talker like someone that talks. You take your time to process information before you pass it. So you need someone who is patient. You would need someone who is patient to do life with you, because if you have someone who is not patient, you may clash a lot. So awareness, have them understand who they are. Things about them, because if they don't understand that, people are going to label them, box them, and use it against them. And if they are not aware, it may be easy for them to just believe and run. So firstly, awareness. Who is your child? Yes, we're raising global leaders. Someone is going to tell you, oh, you cannot lead because you are too sick, you seek peace too much. You cannot lead because you don't talk fast. You cannot lead because you have physical energy. Nah, your child is going to be aware. That is why when I did one of the editions of the Method Things magazine, which is the Boss of Me magazine, when I talked about temperament, I actually went further to talk about people who have those leaders who have certain temperament, leaders who are choleric, word changers who are melancholics, word changers who are phlegmatics, word changers who are sanguines. I talked about them. I remember I said Jonathan Ebele, good luck, Jonathan looks like phlegmatic. Even what was his name? The last president before Tinubu looks like phlegmatic too. Even Barack Obama, if you look at his traits, you would think maybe he's phlegmatic. Probably they look like people like what's this? My daughter's favorite man of all time, Ben Carson. He looks like melancholic, Even though I don't know them personally, I know he's kind of melancholic. Sam Adeyemi, one of my mentors, is almost in the box of phlegmatic. Then we have people like Donald Trump. Choleric, of course. So it doesn't mean somebody will say, oh, because you don't have enough fire, you cannot lead. No. You can lead. You are a leader. Because people will label them. They will not say, okay, I don't have enough fire. I am not so aggressive. I cannot talk like this one. I cannot do this. That means I'm not a leader. No. So your child needs to be super aware of who they are. They need to know who they are. I have my strengths, I have my weaknesses. So when people label out of ignorance, I tell my children in church all the time, that people will label you from where they are coming from, out of ignorance most of the time. They don't define you. You don't let them define you. Okay, that's one. They must be aware of who they are. The next one is you must nurture critical thinking. Critical thinking. They must be able to think for themselves. If they are not able to think for themselves, they are clueless. They are just going to go with everything that goes. They must be able to think for themselves. They must be able to evaluate information. Be situation aware. Evaluate information. Think for themselves. If they can't think for themselves, people will think for them. It is why they are going to do Anything, anyhow. Everyone is doing something. Oh, it's trends. They are doing it. Even if that thing is not even what they want, what fulfills them. I remember when I was in university, I had a classmate who one time went. She had a bad leg. So she never used to wear skirts because one leg is kind of thin, a bit thinner than the other. So she never used to wear skirt. One day she went to buy skirt. I said, why did you buy this skirt? She said, everybody is buying it now. So do I know if it's a yardstick for making heaven? So let me too buy it. That is what we are talking about. Thinking for yourself. Why will you buy it? Because everybody is buying it and you will never wear it. And she never wore it. So what was the use, really? So they must be able to think for themselves because it's not about saying, oh, I know who I am self-aware. The proof that you know who you are is when events happen, is when situations happen, you remain who you are. You don't move. That is the proof that you know who you are. That is the proof that you trust who you are. When event happens, situation happens, you do not move, you don't shift base. It shows that you know who you are. You are confident in who you are. So things will happen, events will happen. If they're able to wear their thinking cap and think it through, that is what makes them remain where they are. They're able to think of, okay, this thing's happening, and sit down, analyze it. What is the fact in it? What is the lie in it? What is the future in it? What does next tomorrow hold? What is it about? They're able to sit down and think. That is how they are going to be stay rooted in their values, in their identity. If they are not able to think, it means only one thing. Everyone else will think for them. Dick and Harry will think for them. Music will think for them. Movies will think for them. Facebook will think for them. Snapchat, TikTok, everyone will think for them. Even the man that just drank alcohol or liquor or gogoro will think for them. I was telling my teenagers in church one time where the topic was about music. I was like, do you know that all this music we sing, many of these songs you sing, do you know that the artists, they were inspired by alcohol? You know, some of them talk about how they smoke, how they drink, they get inspiration, and they come back at the end of the day. Welcome, sweetie. They come back at the end of the day and they write lyrics, and you come back. You come out. Where is Noel? You come out, you are singing, you are dancing, you are vibing and hyping to alcohol inspired lyrics. No wonder they say a lot of things, because ordinarily someone with their senses intact will not say a lot of things that we hear in so many of these songs. They will not say a lot of things that we hear in these songs. They are the ones that are guiding you. They inspire you. So you are inspired by a madman, you know. So they must be able to think, wear their thinking cap. It is when they are able to think, they are able to think about consequences. They are able to think about their image. They remember, who am I? Where am I from? Am I just a copy, a follower? Or am I original? Am I authentic? They must be able to think. Your noise is entering my video, please. Did you hear me? Yes. Your noise is entering my class, please. Sorry about that. So let's go. The next one is decision making. Decision making. Now, here is something we do in parenting. A lot of time, we don't allow our children to actually make decisions, right? We are always making decisions for them. So when they are not able to, oh yeah, thank you, go. Welcome. How is your note, Kata? She is here. You go and meet her later. She's around. You go and meet her. Sorry. Apologies. So when we don't allow our children to make decisions for themselves, we don't allow them, because it is from when they are small they begin to make some decisions. That is even when we can now watch them. We know where they are tilted towards. And we are able to come in. But no, we don't allow them. You always force it. No. Yesterday, tell them to bring down the noise. Yesterday I was telling the parent that it's not all about forcing. Thank you. So good afternoon, ma'am. It's not all about forcing. It's about letting them do what they want to do. When they do it, then you cannot know, okay, this is their inclination. They have the tendency towards. Then you begin to think about how to balance it, And again, what happens when you allow children take decision is that when there's a consequence, is you did not influence it. When you are not influencing the consequence, it's not easier for them. I always say this thing: if you want your child to take you seriously, stop hovering too much. If you want them to earn their trust, stop hovering too much. Just communicate. Let them know if there are consequences of that thing, consequences of them not following what you have said. They will bear the consequence. By the time they face the consequence, they are going to come back and say, oh. So it is not easy for them to now believe you many other times. I don't know if you get the picture. They will not believe you because the first time you said it, they didn't believe you. They got into trouble. Maybe another time they didn't believe you, they got into trouble. By the time they get into trouble a couple of times, next time they will learn to take you seriously. So allow them make age appropriate decisions. When they are young, small children, food, snacks, clothes, shoes, they are super important. It empowers them. And one thing about, for example, identity is actually hinged on values. Your value system as a home. Now, one thing about constantly forcing your child is that it is about you. It's not about them. Because it is always about you that you are always forcing them. So it becomes like, at some point, they will want to become, how do I call it? Is it resistant to all those things? They don't see how it's about them. But when you leave them, because you are going to select your battles, it's not every time you are going to be hovering around. So when you need to put your foot down, when you need to communicate something, your battles are few. So you are not sounding like a broken record. It is not every single time you are breathing down their neck. It's not every single time you are forcing them. Excuse me. Nene, you are disturbing me. Who is riding that bicycle? Emmanuel or Awesome? Tell them to put that bicycle away. My class is going to last for an hour or so. And after that, you all can start your play. So for now, I need absolute peace and quiet. Is that clear? Yes. Sorry about that, please. So I was saying, so when you keep forcing them all of the time, it's as if it's about you. It's about you, really. So they don't have the time for it to be about them. So you leave them. You choose your battles. Nene, I asked who was riding that bicycle. So who is riding the bicycle? Tell Awesome that if they ride that bicycle again, they will go to their house so that I can have some quiet. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. So I was saying that when you keep forcing your children, it's about you. It's not about them. A lot of things happen. Now they don't have time to actually. You will not even let them learn lessons, because if you are forcing your child, for example, maybe you force them to do a particular thing, it is because of a reason. So you don't allow them experience it firsthand, the consequence of it. Your forcing has taken the consequence away from it. And guess what? The consequence teaches more than your force. The consequence they are going to learn from that action will teach them better lessons than you forcing them. So let them take age-appropriate chores, age-appropriate responsibilities. Let them take it. When you are teaching resilience, for example, when they fail, they learn to stand up. They learn to keep going. Let them take make age-appropriate choices, clothes, chores, snacks. Teach them to weigh the pros and cons before deciding. Absolutely, that's another one. When you are teaching them advantages and disadvantages, how do you make decisions? Why do you make decisions? The ripple effect of it, the consequence of it, the long run effect of it. That is how you begin to build, nurture their self-identity or help them strengthen it. Even in you, one way you teach your children, we already know that is you modeling what you are doing, is you modeling it. So one way you are teaching them is your own lifestyle. You are also taking decisions. You carry them along. Like, that is why we can't be random. Yesterday or so, my 8-year-old school has, my 8-year-old school has an issue. Okay, it's a long story anyways. So we are thinking of moving him to another school or leaving him in the same old school he was. I think the school was sold. So the main building was sold. The school moved to a smaller building. Then the main building now is going to be another school in the main building. And the person managing the school was the person managing the old school before. So yesterday, my daughter was asking me, okay, mommy, is he going back to this old school or he will join the new school? And I said, when we get there, we'll cross. When we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. Immediately I said that, I remember something, that was not what I wanted to nurture in her. I'm not nurturing getting to the bridge and crossing it. No, what I'm nurturing is planning, being strategic. If your child is in the mentorship class, you will know that they read a story. One of the stories they used last time by Coach Nadu was the choice about million. A dad who gave his children, gave one, take 2 kobo, I'll give you double it every day, and one who took 1 million. And I was telling my children that one of the reasons why the one who took 1 million failed was because he had no plan. He didn't plan, no structure, nothing. He had no vision. He didn't even know what he wants from life. So he just got the money, and the money was so overwhelming. 1 million, and he just went and he squandered the money, just like the prodigal son. He squandered the money within the shortest time. So I was teaching them the need to always plan, to always be aware of what you are doing, be strategic. Things you don't allow things to happen to you. You must, yes, a penny or 1 million. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, a penny or 1 million. I was telling them, you don't allow things to just happen to you. You must always be aware. You must always plan. This is why you have a vision. If somebody comes to meet you and ask you, what do you want to do with your life? You have an idea. You know where you are going. When you in another 2-3 years, someone asks you, what do you want with your life? You have an idea, you have where you are going. As you grow older, you are having more practical. Is it practical? You are having final details, so that if you have opportunities, you are not going to be lost or confused like the one who took 1 million. So when I now told her that when we get to the bridge, I will cross it, I remember, nah, it's not what. So I had to quickly go back, and I took back my words, and I told her what the plan was, so that she will also see that nothing is random. We are always planning, like I'm teaching. So like I was saying, that every single time, they are watching. So when you are teaching them how to make decisions, they see it in the decisions you make. Even when you go to the market, you want to buy something, ordinary haggling price or negotiating, they are seeing how you are making your decisions, what matters to you, what you value. Maybe you want to buy quantity over quality. They are seeing what you value. You want to buy one whole thing over small ones. You want to buy from someone whose shop is neat and fine, or over someone whose shop is what is it called? Maybe the shop is scattered. They are seeing your values. You want to buy, you say, oh, because this one is rude to me, I am not buying. They are seeing what's the totality of you. They are seeing who you are, because identity is who you are. They are seeing things that matters, and they are actually learning from you. So even when you think, oh, they are not learning, they are learning every time. They're learning every time. For example, you are teaching them how respect, being rude, or let's say how being rude actually takes opportunities away from them. And then you are buying something, the person is being rude to you. You say, oh God, like I always say, nah, I can't work hard for my money, and I come out, I still work hard to spend it. Nah, it doesn't work like that. I work hard for my money. So when I want to, you to work hard to collect my money from me, not like work hard, at least collect my money from me with a kind of respect. don't collect. If you are rude to me, I will not buy from you because you didn't give me the money to buy from you. So why would you be rude to me? So they're actually going to understand that. I don't know if you get my point really, but decision making is one way you can help your children. You can help them stay rooted in their identity. Now, the fourth one is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. You know, this is funny in a way. I was telling a friend the other day that, see, you have someone who at some point gaslights you because this particular person, when you people are having a conversation, it leads to maybe you disagreement in opinions. He wants to just push down his opinions down your throat. You must swallow his opinions. Now, at the end of the day, when you are not swallowing his opinion, he starts gaslighting you. Something like making you feel, okay, you are dumb, making you feel that there's something wrong with you. You are not thinking well. That is why you are holding on to your opinion, because you are not thinking well. And it doesn't always mean that his opinion is, oh, thank you, ma. It doesn't always mean that his opinion is superior. Sometimes his opinion is not superior. Your opinion is not superior because, you know, we have people, some people just argue to win. Some people argue to just to oppose you. Some argue to intimidate you. Why? Some genuinely argue to learn or to teach. So we have people, if you have someone who is not arguing to learn or to teach, they're arguing to oppose you or to intimidate you or just to, what is it called now, to demean you, you are likely going to have them gaslight you. Now, when they gaslight you, if you are not confident in who you are, and of course, very many of us were not raised to be confident in who we are. That is the simple truth. You know, we're raised to second guess ourselves because our voices never really counted much when we were growing. So it's almost as if we didn't know much. So a lot of us now, we are just reinventing ourselves. Now, it is why I tell single ladies, single guys that, see, one of the things you can do for yourself is someone who will not, because very many people, you have to come and build your confidence again as you've grown up. We woke up, started affirming ourselves, started trying, started doing a lot of things that will make us super, now make us confident to the level we are. We are still struggling because we are not where we want to be. Then one of the worst things you can do is surround yourself with people who constantly bring you down. Because that small self-confidence you have built already, they are going to reduce it to nonsense again. So you are going to struggle with self-confidence all your life. So back to now emotional intelligence. So now if you now have that person who, because they want to win that argument, they now start gaslighting you. Now because your self-confidence, kukuma, is shaking like this and like that, it's just being like jelly. At the end of the day, with their gaslighting, you may not start thinking, okay, is it really that I am dumb? Is it really that I don't know what I am doing and all of that? Nene and Noel. Noel, to your room. Nene, to your room. Awesome. Is Awesome there? Yes. Why is he not answering? To that room, to the guest room there. Call them for me now. Tell Awesome to go to the guest room. Lock the door there. Noel, go to your room and stay there until I'm done with my class. Okay. So sorry about that. So I was saying that, so at the end of the day, you will realize that you will not start second guessing, start doubting yourself again. You know, you that is struggling to build your identity, you start doubting yourself. Now, it is why it is important you teach our children emotional intelligence. They must learn to be emotionally intelligent. Learn when to just, no, the argument is not worth it. It is going to be negative energy, because even no matter how intelligent you are, how emotionally, how self-confident you are, you know, there are some kind of things people will say that will make you go back and like doubt yourself in a way that you will now, sometimes you want to prove yourself again that, nah, I want to prove to them that I am not this. No, if you've ever reached a point where you have to prove that you are not what they say you are, it simply means that they were able to throw things or throw stones at your self-confidence. So what am I trying to say? Emotional intelligence. Let them know when to respond. Let them know when to ignore, when to walk away, so that they don't keep listening to people who keep telling them that you are not this, you are that. And it begins to sink in. It begins to shape them. So they are the ones, like I was telling these parents, I was saying that just learn to ignore. You don't have to argue. You don't have to get to that extent where you allow yourself to be gaslighted. So emotional intelligence is key. Sometimes the way they react, if you don't react properly, people see you, they label you by the way you are reacting, and you are not going back to say, yes, does it mean I am so irresponsible, I lack self-discipline, I lack, because of the way you react, the way you react. People don't. I always tell my children, even the children in school, that it's not in church, rather, it's not you that will tell someone that I'm a patient person. Nah, it is your doings, your activities, what you do, that will make them see you as a patient person. So someone will even describe you, oh, this person is very patient. This person is very disciplined. This person has empathy. This person is very reasonable. They will see you from the things you do, not necessarily you going to see it. The same way, if you're emotionally unintelligent, they are going to see that, and they are going to label you. Now imagine if people keep labeling you here, label you there. At the end of the day, you will sit back and think, maybe this is actually who I am. So emotional intelligence is very key. Another thing you want to teach your children is communication. When I talk about communication, is how to ask questions, how to state your observations in anything, how to be bold to speak up for yourself anywhere you go. But you see things not going, imagine people trying to define you. Imagine you hear something that you feel, this is not me. This shouldn't be me. What are you going to do? They should be able to speak up politely. Ask questions. It is super important. Ask questions, especially that asking questions. It is super important. So that when they ask questions, they are going to get feedback. They are not just going to run with anything. Teach them to be assertive. Sometimes it's not about being humble all the time. Sometimes humility can be pessimistic. Some people, because they think, oh, they are humble, they are pessimistic. I have someone I shared in the Visionary Parents Academy. I was telling her one day, do you ever give a no? She was telling me that, God said we should help. I said, yeah, God said we should help. But give a no, because you are always overwhelmed. You are always rushing, running late. You are always super overwhelmed. You are always looking so unkempt, everything. It's simply because you cannot give a no. Learn to be assertive. Learn to communicate exactly how you feel. You are not comfortable. Of course, you can say you are not comfortable. You don't have to give in when you are not comfortable. Learn to be assertive. Learn to draw the boundaries, Learn to know, okay, when a push is becoming a shove, a shove is becoming a push, or how it's said. Learn those things. Teach your children to learn how to communicate. It is super important. It will help them stay rooted in their in who they are, who God has designed them to be, who they are supposed to be, not what people say they are. Don't just follow trend and follow people. Now remember, this class is being brought to you by the Visionary Parents Academy. Now, the Visionary Parents Academy is an academy where parents get empowered. They learn how to parent the children they have. It is a very vibrant academy where we gather every single day of the week. So it's an accountability academy. It's an academy you are free. You have parents who have you have parents who have your same experience as you. We talk about them. We have every day we get skill, we get tools. One of the things we do in the academy is that every single day we get tools, we have conversations, we have discussions, we have things we are doing. We also read books, we also carry our children along every single day. Of course, parenting is about our children now. We are parents because we have children. So we have a system where every single day we carry our children along. Then we have what we call a family talk time, where every single day we take a topic and we teach our children. We empower them, because we want to raise children that have common sense. So I teach teenagers in church, and every Sunday I have my mouth open, wondering, do these teenagers think? Do they have brains in their head? I was telling a teenager yesterday that what she was wearing was not appropriate for where she was going to, and she was telling me, I should, or we should be talking to people who produce these clothes. I was looking at these teenagers. Are you kidding me? Like, shebi they made it, that's why I bought it. I was looking at her wondering, wait, are you thinking, is your brain functioning? So very many teenagers, when we bring up, because we have a small segment in church for mentorship, when we bring up topics, the way they talk, who tells you that these things are completely clueless? They are so clueless. And sometimes I sit back and I wonder, is this the age? I said, no. As a teenager, you're supposed to be able to think more than this. I mean, I remember when I was in SS, when I was planning for my JAM in those days, I was able to think. I remember how my teacher and I, one of my literature teachers, were reading the poem, what's the name of this poem again? My Last Duchess. I don't remember the author now. My Last Duchess, painted on the wall, looking at as if she were alive. From Pandulph's hand went busily a day, and there she stands. One of my favorite poems in those days. I read it on my own. I understood it. I already understood relationship, royalty from that poem. And my teacher he had another interpretation. When it comes to poetry, the person the writer, you may not be able to understand it because you're not in the writer's mind. So I look at them and I'm wondering, I remember when a lawyer then told me, I was arguing with him and I said, my teacher said, and he told me, Annie, you are too big for my teacher said. I said, it was in secondary school. I never forgot that. After that incident, I started doing my own research. No, I never was going to rely on my teacher said. I was paying attention to details because I felt, someone said I was too big for my teacher said. I think I'm actually too big for my teacher said. I was doing my work, developing my sense. But today, these teenagers, no way. So as a parent, we deliberately need to raise teenagers who can think on their toes. Children who have their sense. You don't wait for your child to be a teenager to start it. You start from when they are small to start laying the foundation. It is where we have the family talk time in the Visionary Parents Academy, where every week we take a topic and we teach our children. We just don't teach it like my mom would say mechanically. We teach it in a way that, okay, my mom would say mechanically. Let me coin my own word now. We teach it reflectively. Oh, that's a good one, really. We teach it reflectively. We teach it in a way that they are able to actually sit down and reflect and think, So the Visionary Parent Academy is a place you definitely want to experience. I tell you, it is very, 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 very empowering. Very, very empowering. And we have how many coaches? 4 coaches. You can always slide into anyone's DM if you don't want to even talk in the academy. Slide and have your questions answered, your struggles. You can always get us to meet you and customize to meet your parenting needs. So the Visionary Parent Academy is the place you want to go. So I've talked about communication. Now this is the baba of them all, resilience. Resilience is the baba of it all. We cannot talk about raising children who are rooted in their identity without talking about resilience. In fact, it ought to have been the first for me to say. Resilience, after self-awareness, is resilience. Resilience, you see what this word is? a lot of things will happen, a lot of obstacles, a lot of lemons will be thrown at them. And if they don't have the skills, the mental capacity, the adversity quotient to handle them, what do you think they are going to be? They are going to compromise a great deal. Resilience. Your child must be resilient. We can't even negotiate resilience. The importance of resilience cannot be overemphasized. Resilience, the ability to bounce back. Perseverance, resilience and perseverance. The ability to long suffering. That's what we call it in Christendom. In Christianity, long suffering, not to be able to delay gratification. Okay, maybe I should talk about resilience before that. Ability to bounce back. Optimism. If they don't have resilience, they don't have optimism, I guarantee you that, it is going to be easy for them to just anything go with the wind. So you must build resilience in your children. What does it mean? It means that any situation they find themselves doesn't define them. It means that, you're not responsible for what happens, but how you respond to it, you are responsible for it. What does it mean? It means that there is a purpose in every pain. What does it mean? It means that, I think there's a class on resilience in this channel. You want to go back and sit down, learn, and listen to the master class. It simply means that, there's a purpose in every pain. You can take every lesson and learn from it and build. Make every block thrown at you a building block. Resilience. If our children are not resilient, then I tell you something, it's going to be easy for them to just fall anywhere the wind goes. Whatever happens, life is going to push them. Any small challenge, they are going to lose who they are. I saw a video one time of a boy. Someone said the boy was pastor, this campus fellowship pastor. He went abroad now and he got married to a boy. A boy got married to a boy. He went abroad, he got married to a boy. Meanwhile, he was a pastor when he was in university. I think shortly after university, he jackpot. It was when he got there that he got married. And people were like, maybe he was pretending. Everybody had their own, of course, opinions, takes, and all of that. However, one of the things I said under the post was that, have we considered other factors? Have we considered the fact that it may not actually be that he this is who he is. It may be that he got there tough. Life was tough. And he wanted to remain there. So he had to just do something for him to remain there. It could be issue with resilience. When we are not resilient, then our values are easily compromisable. Who we are easily lost in who we are. Because for some people, battles. Now, it is resilience that you see people, they will jump from one thing to another. You don't know who you are. We don't even know who you are, what you want. We don't even know what you want from life. Just jumping from one place to another, experimenting and doing all sorts of resilience. Being able to bounce back in the face of situation. Optimism, believing that, this situation does not really define me. Failures don't define me. It's a temporary setback. I can always bounce back. That is it. Was it not the other time, the last jam before this jam? Was it jam? That a girl, she didn't do well in jam. At the end of the day, she took her life. That is what we are talking about, resilience. Was jam enough to define her? Was not passing jam enough to define her? No, it didn't make her a failure. She took her life because she saw herself as a failure. She has failed. She couldn't move on with life. So resilience is super important. When people don't have resilience, when there is no optimism, when there is no hope, again, they can settle for anything that is not even worth settling for. So resilience is one of them. Then cultural and spiritual grounding. This is super important. Now, this is where in our challenge for the month, we talked about family history. We even talked about our children when they were growing up. Let them know their history, their personal history. Let them know their family history. And cultural grounding, it is super important. in helping our children stay rooted in their identity. There's a question I've asked over and over again. Why is it that a child whose parents are good Christians, they go to church, they do all sorts, they see their mom wears frock up and down, not even wear earrings. As soon as they get to school, first year you see the girl wear halter neck they call it, and crop top, wear trousers, not even trousers, wear bomb shorts, and they are shaking all over the place. Why do you think that happens? One of the reasons it happens is because those children, they were not spiritually grounded at home. And one reason I keep telling parents is that force. When our children don't understand this, when we have not reached their hearts, when we have not reached their heart, you have not reached the heart of your child, I tell you, it is just superficial, it's on the surface. At the end of the day, identity, you not go identity anything. And one mistake parents make all the time is to say it and not do it. You can't keep your child spiritually grounded except it's just by the grace of God. Maybe God has that child for a special assignment. That is, if you are living a double life, that your child will not live a double life. They will live one life at home, they will live one life away. They will not even know who they are, let alone be rooted in an identity. So I see Christian parents do this a lot. I remember one time when I was in Lagos, I was super upset. I wanted to buy something from the woman. This is a church woman that attends this church, no earrings, nothing. And the next thing she was just telling somebody, see this boy, wait, you be goat, mumu, very stupid. I sat back and I was looking at this woman. You are a child of you are a child of God. Of course, everyone is a child of God. You are supposed to be mommy in the Lord. You open your mouth, you are using insultive words on that child, on that boy, for whatever reason, I don't know. Then those same people, they lie, small lies here and there, small lies. And then you think your child will now be rooted in that identity of, oh, I'm a Christian. You know why? You are not holistic. You are not even practicing what you want them to practice. I asked this question. Have you ever wondered why it may have been super easy for Father Abraham to convince Isaac? He was taking Isaac to be slaughtered. At some point, Isaac had his doubts. That was why he said, we have everything we need. We do not have the sheep. And Abraham said, God will provide. And Isaac went with him, sheepishly, without doubting, God will provide. Have you ever wondered why? Because Abraham has consistently obeyed God. He has done everything. It has always been God said this, and Isaac will see him do the things that God has asked him to do. And we see victory. So when he told Isaac, God will provide, Isaac did not doubt. Because even when his wife was telling him, Hagar, go and meet Hagar, Hagar, the house girl, the wife was saying, maybe that's how God, wants it. So because that was their tradition then, I think they see it in Igbo culture now, where a woman will marry another woman and the woman will give birth and she will take the children as children, something like that. They see it in some Igbo cultures, maybe that was their tradition then. Isaac followed Abraham because he believed. It simply means that he was deeply rooted in the identity that he inherited from his father. But come to us as Christians, we say one thing, we do another thing. The children are watching. A coach was sharing the story with me of a girl who is bisexual. She's a teenager, yes, and the father is a pastor. So she came for counseling because she's a counselor. And the girl was like, the first day she actually did that was because she was angry. One of the things that pushed her to that was because she was angry. What made her angry? She saw her daddies for one day where her dad had a video of him and another woman entirely. So that kind of broke him. That kind of made her made her disappointed. That was the foundation of her doing what she was doing. Now, if you don't know, maybe if the father is your pastor, you don't know this story, you don't have the background story. At the end of the day, we say, this girl, Picking where one spoil go spoil. Children have minds of their own. See what this father, and you know some people, they can preach and it will fall from heaven. See this father is a man of God. They can say bless you to everybody. You know, at the end of the day, you will just think, oh, it is the child just wants to be wayward. You will not realize that the standard at home was compromised. So for very many parents, when it comes to spiritual grounding or even cultural grounding, we are not doing a good job with our children. We are bipolar, if I'm to use the word, bipolar. You know, we are chameleon. We go with the weather. We go with the flow. Lying, oh my God. Sometimes I just wonder that, do people know that lying is actually a sin? It's not right. Do they even know that? You see, people who are supposed to be very religious people, the way they will lie, Chineke, you will just be wondering, like, the way they will lie, the way they will gossip, the way they will express hatred. You will just be wondering. And you want your child to be deeply rooted in which identity? Identity that you have not shown that being deeply rooted in it is possible. Nah, your child will not. Because you have not proven to them that it is possible to actually be deeply rooted in this identity. You've just told them that anything can go. And so they let anything go. So cultural and spiritual grounding. Let your children know about their culture, where they are coming from, the strength in their culture. I saw this story, what is it called? Funmilayo Kuti. I absolutely loved it. Oh my gosh. The strength of African women as at back then. It's not even now. All those strength of women started. Then I now read the story of Margaret Ekpo. I say, why are producers not producing this movie now? Margaret Ekpo should be another movie. You know, heroes, a lot of things. Pre-colonial, post-colonial, colonial. Those stories of strong women, strong men, you know, who dare to stand up against what they consider injustice. Those stories should be shared, should be told. Children should be made to watch them in schools. Funmilayo Kuti, they should be made family movies that children can watch. I say, I wish I was a movie producer. I will produce epic, I will produce historic movies so that our children will see our roots, our culture, our identity, where we are coming from. They will know we have something. Yes, they will know we are not second class ordinarily. We have bad leadership doesn't mean. I think about a few months ago or so, I picked a woman and her children. Her children actually attend my son's school. So we're coming back. I met her and someone was supposed to pick her. So the person that was supposed to pick her, the car got spoiled, got broke down the road. So I picked her and the woman's children. So I think about 4 or 5 of them with my children. I think 4 children, has 2, the other woman's 2 with my children. So I said, their children are very small toddlers. Okay, let me go and drop them at home because taking bike, it may not be so okay. And I dropped them at home. So I was telling her that, you see, I can't wait. But she wanted to show me a few things. I said, no, because I had runny stomach. I can't wait. I need to go back. And she told me, don't worry. There's a leave here you can take. And your runny stomach will stop. I said, are you kidding me? She said, no, let's go. And I got there. She gave me the leave. She said, just take 1 or 2. I said, okay. I just took a lot. I said, my stomach is really light. And it's really unsettled. I just ate a lot. Guess what? When I got home, I had to pick my phone and call my husband. I said, do you know I just ate? There was one leaf somebody gave me. I ate now, and my running stomach stopped. Like, you know, these are our roots, our culture, a lot of things that we have that our children, we used to convince them that we are actually great. You know, family history, family line. If you can dig your family history, talk to your children about, your great-grandfathers, your fathers, what were they, and all of that. It is going to help them. It is going to help them. Originally, we are family of XYZ. We are warriors, we are hunters, we are farmers, we are, what is it called? Anyway, just anything. It will help them to know they have an origin. It will help them to be confident, you know. So please, our culture, our spirituality, we need to be super intentional about them. It will help our children stay grounded. Unfortunately, not all of us, we don't have, like me, I don't have the privilege of knowing back. I even have to ask my dad about some of my histories, and my dad too, Kukuma doesn't know. So who am I going to ask now? Maybe I'll make deliberate effort to go to my village and find out. And then my children, of course, their dads too. So spiritual and cultural grounding will help our children. We should teach them things about their culture, things they need to know, the importance of some things, the story behind some things. It will help them know who they are as a people. Self-discipline. How can we talk about being rooted in self-identity without talking about spiritual self-discipline? I talked about it in passive a while ago. Perseverance, delay gratification, self-discipline. No one says it's easy, but they need that self-discipline. So one of the things we need to nurture in our children, if you want them to be rooted in their identity, is self-discipline. Temptation will come. People will deliberately set them up safe to compromise. And let me see how you will not fall. Remember Joseph in the Bible, right? He knew who he was. That is what we mean by self-identity. What about Daniel? What about the three boys? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They knew who they were. That's what we mean by self-identity. Knowing who you are. And in the face of whatever, you are not compromising. You are uncompromisable. That is what we mean by self-identity. Knowing who you are. Temptations will come. We see them already everywhere. You see the girls, you see the boys doing all sorts of manners. Desperation. They're not able to delay gratification. They're not able to wait till tomorrow. They're not able to persevere. Just one small wait. They cannot wait. They cannot persevere. We can't raise children who are rooted in their self-identity without teaching self-discipline. No, it doesn't work. They must learn how to be self-disciplined. Because the word, we want them to compromise a lot of time. We throw a lot of things, show them, make everything flashy so that they can compromise. But if they are rooted in who they are, if they are able to hold back, they'll be able to stay rooted in who they are. Adaptability without losing self. Adaptability. This is also super important. Adjusting without being vegetable. Another resilience. Being able to adjust wherever they find themselves. Being flexible in a way that they're not losing who they are. It will also help them stay rooted in their identity. Adaptability, flexibility without losing their originality. And lastly, purpose-driven thinking. Our children should be able to think for themselves. They should always be able to think long-term, not short-term. It is super important. This is where teenagers, very many of them, they don't think long-term. They don't even know what is beyond today. To them, it's all about today. It's all about now. So, Jesus, I just sit back and I'm wondering, like, I'm tempted to ask them, if your brain is opened, what is actually inside? Because I can't believe a 15, 16, 17-year-old girl will not be a boy too, will not be able to think beyond today, beyond now. They don't realize their life is theirs. They don't realize the consequences of their actions. They don't realize their actions have consequences, let alone their actions have ripple effects. I mean, that may not just stop today, that will go a long way to impact their future. That's because they don't know how to delay gratification. That's because they can't think purposely. They can't think purpose-driven. So that is why it is super important. I shared a post earlier on. I asked, who are you raising? Are you raising mediocrity or greatness? You can't raise mediocrity and you are not purpose-driven. You must be purpose-driven. Being purpose-driven does not necessarily mean, okay, you are on billboards or you are big TV. No, in your little corner, be purpose-driven. Help your child understand to pursue purpose instead of complacency, instead of mediocrity, instead of being a local champion, instead of now. It will help them know who they are. They are living purposefully. Their life is for a purpose. Help them build their life around purpose. Nurture purpose in them, a drive for purpose. They will be rooted in their identity if they have a drive for purpose. Because at the end of the day, it is that purpose that will drive them and not just immediate gain. Because life will throw a lot of things. But if our children have dreams, they have visions, they have purpose, they have goals in life, it will keep them going despite what life throws at them. Despite what life throws at them. Again, this was brought to you, or rather, this is brought to you by the Visionary Parents Academy. It's an academy you need to be. I don't have the strength to talk much today. Maybe when I have the strength, I am going to come back and sit down, break it down, and tell you what you have to gain, benefit by joining the Visionary Parents Academy. It's an academy you need to join. You certainly need to be in the Visionary Parents Academy because we aren't playing there. It is value. It is solution, practical, every day. You can't be in the Visionary Parents Academy and you are not parenting with peace. You're not parenting with ease. You are not parenting with confidence. It's not possible. What are you doing there? You're a bench woman. Except you are not taking action. Except you are just there to fill space. You're not taking action. Because if you take action, if you go through our classes and you take action, I tell you, your parenting will be so transformed that even you will be super proud and happy. And you are going to be telling people, Visionary Parents Academy is a place you should go. That is it. So I want to encourage you to join us. For 2025, we are closed. But for 2026, we are opened. And we also have a program coming up next month. You know, next month is September, back to school. I forgot to mention it earlier. We are going to focus on helping our children do well in school. So whatever your child struggle was last session, next month, we are going to make sure you are going to be able to get the skills, the knowledge, the information, everything you need to help your child do better in school. So if you want to be part of the challenge, part of the course for next month, you just need to send a message and we are going to tell you how you can be part of the course next month. It promises to be super empowering. It is result focused. You are going to get results. Help your child do better in school next academic session. So that at the end of the day, your child too will get an award and you too will be proud. And your child too will be proud. Thank you so much for joining today. I appreciate you. If you are new here, what you want to do is to subscribe, is to copy this video and share. Whether you are new here, whether you are old here, just go to the share link, copy it, go to your groups, your old school association, your church group, your mosque group, your community group, your children's PTA. Just share the link. Let everybody know that, hey, today you learned something, and let them also learn what you have learned. That is your way of helping other people. That is one way of making impact. That is one way of being purpose-driven. Yes, because you are teaching people, what they may not know. You are helping the nation, helping the community, helping everyone grow into who we should originally grow into. So thank you so much for joining. I do hope you learned what you want to do. If you have a question, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section. If you want to know how you can join the Visionary Parents Academy, also ask in the comment. If you have my personal number, do well to send it to me. If you're in the free group, send it, share it there, and of course, we are going to respond to you. And if you are not in any of our free groups, you can leave your question here. How do I join the Visionary Parents Academy 2026 cohort? And I promise you, we are going to respond to it, and your parenting experience will never be the same. If you have quick issues, if you want to create a system, something quick for your family, or you can't wait to join the academy for 2026, you have struggles and you want to have them sorted out now. It's still super okay. Send a message, leave your questions and send a message, and we are going to tell you how to go about it. Hold your hand, give you step-by-step guide, direction on how to how to actually surmount whatever challenge you have in your parenting. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Enime Orebo, and this is the Visionary Parent Academy with Enime Orebo. See you next week. Bye-bye.